welcome to Synchronicity. Sorry for the prolonged absence. February is that type of month. How was that month for you? It was a doozy. It just kind of rocketed it up into extreme. Transitions are the name of the game, in case you haven't noticed right now. That's pretty much the mood we're in, the vibe we're in. I think when we were originally talking about what 2023 was going to be like, and I was talking about this with, a bunch of my woo friends, and this feels pretty accurate. Like, I got to say, I feel like we're getting what was expected so far. A lot of up and down, a lot of chop, a lot of just things coming out of nowhere and just kind of resolving, but also you got to put in effort and still deal with stuff, shit like that. Anyway, before we get too deep into the episode, big shout out to my sponsors, the great guys at Ned. Go to helloned.com. Check out all their fine products ranging from natural CBD to their new product, Shut Eye Chai, their sleep time chai tea. I got to tell you, insomnia, I've been rocked the past week or two. I've not been getting to sleep great. Sleep has been disturbed. And this stuff has really been a pretty big blessing. I got to say, cannabis and anything that helps you sleep, I'm a big melatonin fan. I just enjoy it legitimately. So if you go to helloned.com, use the code SYNC, S-Y-N-C, at checkout, you will get 15% off whatever you order. I believe that's in perpetuity. So keep using that code. Keep getting money off from cool people who are doing cool stuff. And yeah, they're the best. So we love those guys. Thanks, Ned. You guys rule. Okay. This episode, listen, we got shit. We're basically, I hope we have come to appreciate consistency over the past few months, at the very least. I know that's ironic from someone who has not been consistently podcasting. But I will say this, listen, and this is just it's a hell of a plug and a hell of a convenient time. I have been doing the live streams every Thursday night for patrons, and those are recorded and people can check in. So if you are feeling like, hey, you know what? I'd like a little bit more Noah in my life. And it's different. There's music. It's weird. We smoke. We hang. I don't say things for 10 minutes at a time and just listen to music. That type of shit. We're starting music tutorials this coming month. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/synchronicity. You can sign up there and get access to those. But this goes into kind of like what I was talking about with consistency. One of the things I noticed with writing things down in the journal, which I've kept up to, I think I've missed 2 days in almost 2 months. And it's just a really good way to establish some routine that takes the time to honor the deeper aspects of who you are, which is a really corny way of saying just checking in with yourself and still making sure that you know that you're awesome, right? Does that ring any bells? Does that set off any alarms? Because sometimes we can forget that. And if we don't kind of carve out that time and space for ourselves, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, writing in a journal, that consistency really does breed success in other areas of our life. I did the episode, try it really works, because it does. But that is just kind of the vibe, and it is just kind of it's like we're putting in the spiritual work right now. It kind of it doesn't always need to be work, but sometimes it does need to be work, and it does kind of right now for a lot of people. And if you're just, again, if you're coasting along and just fucking crushing it at every term, great. Appreciate that, savor that, honor that, love that. For me, it's a lot of fucking oscillations. It's like a sine wave. But I got to say, on the whole, I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. I think I'm handling a lot of situations that are objectively there's a lot. It's just kids, man. Kids are a lot. Families are a lot. Responsibilities are a lot without it feeling like a responsibility, and still kind of aiming to bring the same joy and love to your life. That's the thing. That's kind of at least what I've gleaned from my life blueprint, what lessons I'm supposed to be learning. That's a big one. How to enjoy not responsibility per se, but the situation that you have set up for yourself, how to specifically get the most enjoyment and pleasure and love out of that. That feels and sometimes it's effortless and sometimes it's easy, and sometimes you got to put a little bit of elbow grease into it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, also, have you noticed it's the end of the world again? everything's the end of the world. You got earthquakes in Turkey every other fucking day, devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. You got oil chemical spills on trains in Ohio near Pennsylvania, wafting poison air everywhere. Everything that I've mentioned it on the live streams, everything's dystopian, all the best shows. The Last of Us, amazing show. I played the game. It's terrifying. It was very difficult to get through, but it's so goddamn good. Show's the same way. But it's all dystopian, just like kind of like fucked up, hopeless. How do we find love in a homeless place? As Rihanna, I used to think that's what she was saying. You know her song, Find Love in a Hopeless Place? Sounds like she says homeless. Go listen to the song. Sounds like, why is Rihanna hanging out in a homeless place? What's going on? But anyway, how to find love in a hopeless place, right? That's what a lot of these dystopian shows kind of like get to. Like, how do we do that and maintain our sanity and things like that? And it just feels like this is like a theme of what we're being asked to explore these days, whatever that means. And this is probably an evergreen thing. Like I imagine at certain points, people will be listening to these podcasts not. And I know this from the feedback. I still get people coming in who are like starting, like thinking I have the same energy as I did 3 years ago. Remember that? It was a fucking like 3 podcasts a week. Now they're like, what happened? What happened to this guy? Grizzled through the fucking train of reality, friends. That's what happened. So I thought what we would do this episode is get back to basics. We'll do a little preview for March 2023. So we really make sure this thing isn't evergreen, but we'll call it evergreen anyway. If it happens to be another time and you're listening to this, let's just say time cycled back around and it's all good. Huh? How about that? Does that work? I think that works. So we're going to do a basic Celtic cross like we had been doing. I stopped it, I think, for a month, maybe 2, but I think we'll do it now. We do these routinely. On the Patreon, we do readings like every week. They're fun. We sometimes pull up people's charts. People know what's up there. That is, in case you can't tell, I'm not like pivoting towards that, but that's the place where I go for like the consistent, okay, I'm going to do that this week. Adding an extra 45-minute to an hour-long podcast where I just yammer about shit is, it's sustainable to a point, but, let's bank on 2 episodes a month, and then the rest we'll be doing 4 live streams on the Patreon. Which, by the way, you don't have to sign up. I'm not gating it. You can watch them live when they're happening. I broadcast everything. They're just recorded for patrons in case they don't have a schedule that's exactly the same as mine every single week at the same time. All right, let's get started. Hopefully March feels like Feb part 2 ramped up a little bit, but let's just see what the cards say. Let me shuffle them up a little bit so we don't get the same old yangy bangies that we've been getting. I hope you're doing well. Things have been pretty good, I gotta say, like for the most part. I feel like I'm kind of crushing things right now, but you never know what's in store next. Everyone's just changing. Everything's fine, by the way. I just want to be clear, like everything in life and reality is fine. Just remember your faith and your persistence are your 2 biggest skills that you're trying to cultivate here. Know that everything is good. I'm not just saying that as like a coping mechanism. It's only like 80% coping mechanism. It's not. Things really are okay. Like I hope everyone knows that for themselves and for all of reality. And your belief that that's true is really the single most like dominant factor in actually shaping that reality. So let's just preface it with that. And then let's see what these magic cards are going to tell us what the fuck is going on. Does that sound reasonable? It sounds pretty reasonable to me. Let's get going. Present situation. Page of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, a little tipsy-topsy-turvy with the physical reality, right? The material world not making so much sense. Trying to start something new, can't quite get it going. That type of vibe. It's okay. The passion is there. The support is there. The Page of Pentacles certainly will allow us to kind of bring in growth and abundance on its own path. Don't push things here too much. Let them come to you. That's a big part of this, right? And so that's kind of what we're dealing with. What's our challenge? Temperance, yeah, reversed. So balanced, again, like we're just going to kind of hammer home this theme of up and down. Upsy daisy, whoopsie daisy, everything goes up, must come down, dibbity doopy dubbity duh, and that can leave you feeling kind of unbalanced, right? I do recommend writing down in whatever journal you're writing down. I hope you're still doing this. We're still doing it in the Patreon. We're still doing it everywhere. Write down, appropriate a state of balance. That's not a bad thing to focus on. A state of even-mindedness, calm, confidence, poise, those things, grace, good stuff to kind of tune into. If you don't feel like that, don't, harangue, don't give yourself a hard time about it. It's okay. It's just like, it's vibe. It's the vibes. Everything's vibration, right? If you think about like cymatics and things like that, the cymatics where you put the sand on the vibrating plate and they play a melody or a tone rather, it makes all these different fractal shapes, and polygons and stuff. Everything's a vibration. Our physical matter is literally vibrating stuff. So it's just vibes. And the vibes right now are a little like, whoa, a little roller coastery. It's all right. What's been going on in the past? In the past, Four of Cups reversed, you may have been getting to the point where you're seeing what's been in front of your face the whole time that you've kind of been looking away from. Kind of finally get that. Finally are like, all right, let me pay attention to what's been staring me in the face. I've been focusing on this other shit, but now let me focus on what's actually been going on. So that turn from non-awareness to awareness feels like it has been made in the past. Sound good? Sound good to me. It just did Mario there. Yes. Very good. The future. So any obsessive, addictive, repetitive, compulsive behavior, you should be able to kind of see that being let go, right? Devil reverse is letting go of addiction, letting go of obsessiveness, letting go of even shadow material that you feel has weighed or binded you, kind of held you down. The overcoming of that, elimination of that. That's cool. That's something to be celebrated. You don't want to be bound by thoughts. You, again, are the master of your own thoughts, ultimately, at the end of the day. So don't forget that. Then who, if you're not, then who is? That's a question to ask. I don't know. Do you have an answer for that? I don't know. What, little fucking DMT elves? I haven't touched DMT. I haven't touched ketamine. I've touched drugs since that last DMT fucking bazooby boobs. I tried ketamine a few times after, and it just kept bringing me back to the fucking ghost realm. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to pause on this shit. I could potentially see doing ketamine in the near future again. That was a cool thing. I recommend ketamine for anything like you want to get an outside perspective on what you're going through. So if you really feel locked in, ketamine might be like, well, let's let the rest of this reading play out, and then we'll talk about how useful ketamine is for these times. Okay, sounds good. Conscious mind. Cool, right? Nine of Swords reversed. This is, again, the overcoming of anxiety, and this is our conscious mind. Being able to maybe see something or a situation that would have given us anxiety in the past, or really kept us up at night, or just like really worrying, right? The overcoming of that, the being able to see that that's just a thought like any other, and it can be left behind and kind of not acknowledged in a way that kind of makes it at the forefront of your reality. And this is your conscious mind being able to do that. So that's a nice feeling when you can overcome that consciously. And this, again, feels kind of accurate, even though things are kind of like tipsy, topsy, turbsy, troobsy. Just none of these are real terms. There does feel to be kind of like an upwards spirally pattern to what's going on. Yeah? Let's see what the unconscious says. Hangman reverse. Again, it just kind of like the subconscious here, the unconscious. It's just upside down, man. It's just like this stuff is like, it's bleeding in the weird into regular waking life, and perspectives are constantly being tested and changed and coming up to, ask you to reflect on them and see if it's working for you, your current perspectives, and seeing where you may need a change in perspective, or also, right, being too wishy-washy, pointing that out and maybe being like, hey, maybe take a stance here on a perspective that's going to work for you. Like actually kind of hammer out what it is that's going to be working for you rather than just going with the flow with every fucking thing, because that's not going to work all the time. So those are the energies we typically talk about when we find the hangman reversed in the unconscious position. All right. Advice, Two of Cups reversed. I mean, this is a weird card for advice, right? Two of Cups is the coming together of the alchemical opposites, masculine, feminine, light and dark, emotional or intuitive, rational. And so when we find it reversed here, we could be looking at areas in our life where those things aren't aligned, right? And being like open to asking ourselves, like, what can we actually do to like honor the other aspect that maybe we're not honoring, right? If we're being too rational, should we be letting in some emotion and intuitions? If we're too emotional and too like relying on the woo or the intuitive constantly, should we bring in some logic and reason into the situation? That's kind of what we're being, again, the advice in this situation. This is for March. We'll call it the end of quarter 1, 2023. Look at the areas in your life that are not necessarily in harmony. And I don't say in balance necessarily, like proportionally. It's in harmony with each other. Some people are just naturally more emotional. Some people are naturally more rational. Some people are naturally more grounded. Some people are naturally more kind of free and unbound. Neither is better. You're not supposed to have one more than the other. You could have 99% emotional, 1% rational, and that could be the perfect formula for you. It's just being open to looking at active kind of patterns in your life and seeing what's really going well and what's not. Where could you tighten up in certain areas? Where could you loosen up in certain areas? And being open to that and not kind of like, oh, I don't want to change. Don't do that. No one likes that. I don't want to. No. It's not what we do. External situation, 9 of Pentacles reversed. I hope you're not feeling like this. It certainly can go and come for me at times, right? You want to feel like you're the master of your own reality. You're self-empowered, you're self-sufficient, you can take care of things, but your external reality may not be reflecting that at all times right now. And it may not reflect that. This is not like a condemning sense for March. It's more of kind of a reminder if you find yourself in this energy to be like, oh, it's just something that was happening. It's not like a death sentence for who I am. It's a final condemnation of my character. But 9 of Pentacles reverse is really the card of self-sufficiency. It is this card of abundance and kind of like building your own future and perfect paradise. And when we find a reverse, we could maybe be dealing with issues of struggling with that and not feeling like things are going the way we intended, or not having even the ability to create the life that we want to create. Just don't get locked into that mindset. I can promise you it's not true. And more importantly, I can promise you it's temporary. Temporary. And if you allow yourself to truly understand that, you will move through that. But I mean, it's also a time to kind of challenge like yourself. Like, what can you be doing to really take the reins in creating the life that you want to live? But if you feel like that, just don't be a little gentle with yourself. Again, a good dose of gentleness in the coming days is going to be good for you and everyone else. Just relax. Not so serious all of the time. Some of the time, sure. Hopes and fears. Love this card. Who doesn't? The Sun, right? The Sun is innocence, joy, happiness, generosity, right? Encompasses all 4 aspects of the tarot in it, with the 4 sunflowers being swords, wands, pentacles, and cups, right? Those are all represented. We see the naked boy on top of the pony with the sun in the background, right? So our hope is that we do get that shining day in the sun. We do get this kind of momentous crest of, all right, it's playing out. It's really, wow, my day in the sun has come. But our fears are also that like, maybe that's just not something that's going to happen. Maybe it's not possible for you. Maybe it's not possible for me. Maybe it's something that's just like a pipe dream. Maybe it's only something people say to themselves and so they can keep going in life, and they're deluding themselves, and it is a slog to oblivion until there's nothingness. I can't even take it seriously, but I know that like we can feel like that at times. That's our hopes and fears. It's big, no doubt, but I gotta tell you, the sunshine is coming. It's one of the reasons I still kind of, by the way, I found a really awesome site, Radio, with 5 O's, I think it is, Radio. It's this amazing site. I signed up for it where you can go to different countries and different decades and all the countries in the world and find what was charting at any given time. It's fucking incredible. If you're someone who likes to like sample or just like listen to different types of music, it's one of the coolest things I've ever found. I've been on a hunt just like constantly. I go through all these different regions of the world through different decades to find these songs. Some of them I'm able to find and track down and download so I can sample them. Some of them I'm gonna have to figure out a way to rip them, but like it's really fucking dope. What I was saying is like one of the reasons I still stay very connected to music, whether it's just listening or making, playing, creating, is it kind of unbinds you from this physical state that you're stuck in. It allows your mind to kind of just go out there and connect with different things. I find nature also does this, right? Even if you're just watching something on TV of some beautiful place, you can kind of travel there mentally And that's important to kind of like, it's like stretching out your non-corporeal aspects or your spirit or whatever you want to call it. Like it's stretching those out. Let yourself stretch those out. Like you got to do that to get the energy. You got to like stretch. So let your mind do that. Whatever medium helps you do that artistically, creatively, stay connected with that. Don't lose that in these times of uncertainty or potentially fear-mongering. And then our beautiful outcome, 4 of Swords. Take the time to rest and recuperate and feel well. Meditate. Do the imaginal act. Just take some time out of your day, write in your journal to calm down, unplug, deplug, stop with the scrolling on the phone. Listen, I love TikTok. I watch TikTok more than is a healthy amount, to the point where I don't even say people, like, I'll just be like, I read this there. I saw this article. I didn't see an article. I didn't read shit. I saw it on TikTok, and it's got an 80% chance of being true. Sometimes it's just totally made up, and I'll repeat it. And then I'll sound like an idiot. And they'll be like, that's not true. And I'll be like, no, it is true. And then they'll be like, Google it. And I'll Google it and be like, oh, it's not true at all. Like I thought the king of Spain had a lisp, and that's why they all say there's Z's with a Ibiza. No, it's not true. It's just the affect of the dialogue. It has nothing to do with them trying to, not make a king mad who had a speech impediment due to inbreeding. It's not true. Anyway, TikTok's amazing. I love it, but take some time. Pull away from the devices. I have 3 boys, but 2 of them are very much into the iPad and games, and I am seeing how easy it is to get. I was someone who grew up, I still love video games. I really enjoy playing them. They satisfy an aspect of my brain that really calms me down. I love them, but man, they can be compelling. And if you can't manage that behavior, the honor the time to unplug and do the things that you need to do away from the screen, away from the daily, whatever it is you're doing, you will catch up to you. It will turn into burnout. So take the time now to rest and recuperate. It's wildly important to do. Good rest is invaluable. It is probably one of the most important things that it's super important. Yerd. I don't know why I say yerd, but it is incredibly important. And I do recommend that you do it. You get it, you focus on it, and it seems like a big theme for what's coming up in March 2023. Crypto's been a motherfucking doozy. I am so out on the risk curve here that I'm just completely it is completely irresponsible. But I really am. I've done well so far. We've had a little mini bubble. A lot of people think it might be going back down. I do not think that. I think we're in a choppy upwards momentum. It does not go up in a straight line as much as we would like it to, but the narratives, the things that are emerging that you can reliably trade upon seem to be getting slightly easier. Now, the only bad thing is Elon Musk is actually ruining Twitter. Didn't think he would do it. I thought it was just a meme. I thought people were overreacting, but it is objectively worse. Getting information, spreading information, having Twitter not work reliably is kind of a new thing. Crypto Twitter is one of the best places to get information, alpha, if you will. And you would hope that Twitter would work when the markets are humming. Sometimes I'll just follow people, usually the smaller accounts, where, man, you can just almost blindly do what they're doing and be okay. And that's the real trick with crypto. You have to be very stupid. People don't like to hear that. Yes, you need to be smart. Yeah, sure, it's helpful to understand and have some conception of how the tech is doing. But the meme is, price is bad, tech is bad. Price is good, tech is great. We love it. But really, you just have to learn how to be an absolute moron, and then you will start getting the secret of crypto. It really is beginner's mind more than anything. It's not being an actual idiot, although it kind of is. I gotta say, some of the dumbest shit that I've done has paid off the most. And that's one of those weird paradoxes when it comes to crypto that really just draws me to it and why I talk about it a lot. And I know some people don't give a shit. They're like, whatever, bro. We don't care. It's a scam. It's bad for the environment. No, it's not, by the way. But what this and that and crypto blah, 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 blah. Whatever, man. Who cares? What are you doing? It's like the meme, the guy reading the book. How to Make Money. He opens the book and it says work, and he just starts crying. It's kind of what do you want to do? What are you going to do? This is what I do, partially. And I love it. And I think it's great. This is not a invitation to invest your life savings in something like crypto. It is a highly volatile space. Our Discord server, Sync Haven, is it Sync Haven? Is that what I call it? Crypto Sync. Great. It's a fun place. We hang out there. We do foolish stuff. It's a Freudian slip. We do a lot of fun stuff. So you can come in there and check it out if you want. Other than that, guys, things are good. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat anything unless you want to sweat it. It's not worth it. One thing I have a recommendation I will really put out there that I've been into it's a work called The Master Key System by let me get the name of the guy. I don't want to fucking fuck this up. It's Charles Master Key System. Charles F. Haanel. Haanel. It's pretty dope. It's long, it's big, but it's like, I found a lot of really good works from like the 20s, even a little earlier, from like the Western mysticist people. Really nice thread you can follow there. And I found that one to be pretty cool. Some of it's a little antiquated, but really a lot of it still makes a tremendous amount of sense. And there's a lot of practical stuff in there. So that's a plug. We'll talk about that more as I digest it, but I've listened to it a couple of times. You can find it on YouTube. It's also on Audible, and of course Kindle if you're a reader type person, or you could just get the book Master Key System by Charles F. Haanel. It's good. There was another one I read too that I really liked that I will find the name of. But yeah, there's just, and that's just shit that I do to stay engaged. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget all this stuff. It's really easy. You can get caught up in the vicissitudes of life and really forget you got to put in some effort. Let's pull an oracle from the Threads of Fate. We'll end this. We got a Shorty Boberti episode. This one. There's no rule that says it has to be long, is there? How dare you? Death is the card that we pull. This sounds right? I mean, this is what we're talking about. It's the end of the world again. And it's time to let it go. We can let the old world go. We can let our old conceptions of self fade away into the distance as we step into our new reality of who we are, who we have desired to be, who we are in our highest form of potentiality. But to get there, you have to let all false conceptions of self die and perish. Summon your scorpionic energy, your transformative 8th house energy. Go take a look at your 8th house. What planets, what aspects do you have in that? Go check it out and see what's going on. But death is really kind of the reminder to just be open to surrendering conceptions of who you are, right? And that's feeling like what we're really being asked to do. Well, it's positive and negative too, right? We let go of aspects of ourselves. It's just the way life is. Kids teach us this. They keep growing up and we keep growing up. And then you keep learning things about your parents because now you're a parent and the kids are doing things. You're like, oh, I get it. I didn't understand it. Now I see it. It's like, ugh. It's a whole fucking dance. Who did this? Why are we doing this? There's got to be a reason, right? Well, let's just try to make this as fun and happy and cool as we want it to be. That's what it is. As my almost 2-year-old Aslan would say, so cool. I don't know where he's getting it from, but so cool. That is the way things are. A reminder, go check out the Patreon. That is where most of the action is happening. Patreon.com/synchronicity. You can, of course, find all the old episodes of this podcast on streaming places wherever you go. syncpodcast.com is the website. Readings are pretty much closed, so sorry about that if you didn't get a chance. It's just been difficult to keep a schedule that is reasonable for me with my lifestyle, but you know what, they open up every December for a little bit, and I'll open up when I have the time, but it is what it is. Other than that, Again, thanks to our sponsor, Ned, helloned.com. Use the code SYNC, S-Y-N-C, at checkout, 15% off. Those guys rule. That's it, guys. That's all I got. I will see you Thursday if you are a patron at the live stream. If not, I will probably record another one of these in the next week or two. Until then, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bless this house.